Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Movie Master, where we rank, review, trailer react, and talk news about movies, TV shows, and video games. So I've been away for a little while, just some personal incidents. I've been a bit sick for a little while. I was okay in the end, and I'm now very much better. I just thought to take a break. The reason I took a break back in February was due to the fact that I had school starting back up, and school is still going on now. But I'm taking a break right now just until I can get back out to school. And yeah, I'm much more better now, and if you hear me through my throat, I just had a bit of a sore throat recently, so don't be surprised by this. I just wanted to deliver this small video that will be like a sort of lead up to my Transformers 4 Age of Extinction rewrite. That rewrite is very much underway, hasn't been finished yet. But yeah, someone commented, hey, you should do one on Transformers 4. And indeed, I do indeed plan to do it. This film will not be majorly changed. Dark of the Moon, as you can see, it's just basically a recap of the one I did before. I've already done a video on it. I'll even link it in the description below. But I wanted to give a more clearer explanation with me explaining more clearly, with a more level head, and much more better understanding and giving you reasons about why I made changes to the film that I made. Now, this will be glossing over it. I won't be going over the film in exact detail. One, not to spoiler it, and two, this film, it's pretty much easy. You can access it on Netflix. You can find it on DVD. Yeah, you can find it in many ways to find it. But nonetheless, this will be a short recap / rewrite of Transformers Dark of the Moon, the third installment in the Transformers film series. This was released as a sequel to Transformers 2007 and Transformers 2 Revenge of the Fallen, released in 2009. Two sequels are spawned of it, Age of Extinction and The Last Night, which I intended to never reference. Ever since the release of the fifth film, and since 2020, I've decided to not at all watch Transformers Age of Extinction through to Bumblebee. I have nothing against Bumblebee or The Last Night. Age of Extinction, I sort of have I have a pet peeve against that one. So I normally watch 1 through 3 because I grew up with them and I'm more interested in them. My least favorite out of the 3 films would have to be besides Revenge of the Fallen being one of my lesser favorites out of the trilogy. Second would have to be Dark of the Moon. The one reason is Mikaela Banes isn't in it. As we all know, Mikaela Banes was fired by Steven Spielberg due to the fact she compared Michael Bay, the director of the first 2 movies, to Hitler. Megan Fox played Mikaela Banes, Sam's girlfriend, and due to the fact that this was so late in the script, the screenwriter and writer Erin Kruger had to rewrite the script by cutting her out and adding Carly in. Unfortunately, this led to the casting of Rosie Huntington-Whiteley as Carly Spencer. Now, honestly, what can I say about her character? Well, what can I say about a character? One, she is indeed based off a G1 character. There was a character, I believe, called Carly Spencer, or I don't know her last name, but her name was Carly, and she was Sam's girlfriend in the show. Well, no, in the show, Sam Witwicky from the films is based off Spike Witwicky from the Transformers G1 cartoon. Spike ended up getting a girlfriend who he'd later on marry named Carly. And this is what the movie's adaptation of her is. Besides being based on the cartoon character, loosely based, and her being, in my opinion, a very, very beautiful woman, that's pretty much her only 2 traits. She has no personality, really no character, and goes through no development throughout the entire third film. It was pretty clear that this film was meant more for Mikaela Banes. There's even a video titling Micheala's Stolen Ark by Marlinfan 1995. Or 1997. But nonetheless, this is just a small rewrite of how to tweak the film and how I think it should go. I will explain certain scenes in detail just to explain what they mean, only because they alternate certain versions of scenes. But nonetheless, let's get started. So far, the film would start pretty much the same way, with the whole Cybertron flashback, with Sentinel ship escaping Cybertron, it getting blasted off into space, the whole space race being triggered, them finding the wreckage of the ship, them coming back to Earth and all that, the logo, everything. This is where it diverges now. We continue the scene with, well, basically it's the same scene. In the original scene, Carly, in underpants and a buttoned-up shirt, white buttoned-up shirt, she walks up to Sam's room and passes him a bunny, and they chat. Now, basically, Megan Fox will be put in the scene, same scenario, same outfit pretty much, same what's happening with the whole bunny thing. And I feel like her being in the apartment with me, Micheal there, was more better. Because, well, At this point in the timeline, they would have been dating for quite a long time. And oh yeah, the film would declare that it's set in 2013 to keep a realistic standpoint in the timeline. The first Transformers film was set in 2007, when Sam was a sophomore, I believe. No, he was 16, so he was a junior in high school. Then, in 2008, he was a senior at high school. Then, 2009, he was a high school graduate going into his first year of college. Now, since he studied technology, that would likely take around 5 years in the college he went to. 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. There's actually a video Trans he's made relating to this, but it's pretty clear because while they hit several points that he's out of college recently, setting this film in 2013, from 2009 to 2013. You count the years back, 5 years back, it's 2009. Unless I'm counting wrong, but yeah, 2012, 2011, 2010. 2012, 2011, 2010, 2009. If you count back 4 years, 5 to 4 years, you get 2009. And pretty much, yeah, this would make it clear that he's now out of college and now getting a job. And it would make more sense that at a standpoint, Mikaela and Sam would now be moving in together because they've been dating since 2007. And 2008, 9, 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013. 6 years they've been dating at this point. When you count something, you count from the next year onward. But at this point, they've been dating for 6 years. So it would make sense that they'll be living together with Carly and Sam. By the looks of it, they've only been dating for a year and a half. And that's not for half a year. 1 year and half a year. That isn't much time. And it doesn't really look like there'll be enough time to quickly move in together. I feel like that would make more sense if that was Mikaela. When this film opened, we questioned, who is this girl? Because a lot of people may have not known. Some people may have not known, but unlike me, I was 4 years old. I did not know about the internet or famous actresses or actors going under scrutiny or scandals. So I didn't know about Megan Fox being removed from the film. So the entire film, I wondered where the hell was Mikaela and where the hell is this girl in her place. I thought, well, she's very beautiful. She's very pretty, because I thought that's what it was at the time. But I thought, I have really no caring for her character. Like, I don't mean to drag on Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. She can be an amazing actress and is a very beautiful woman, but that's all she's there for. To be the beautiful woman, to be the hot babe, that's the sidebar to her character. Yes, whilst Megan Fox was indeed the hot sidebar to our main character, she still had a bit more of character, personality, and heart. On the other hand, Carly, no, we don't really get to see much of her personality. Had Mikaela been in this film, we would have seen much more personality, much more growth in her character. And she would have getting much more growth. Obviously, my version, the version I made, this alternate version of the film, she'd be much more of a bigger character. But overall, yeah, this scene will play out exactly the same, except with Mikaela in it, with the same outfit and everything in the same scenario. Just, yeah. And pretty much I've explained why this scene is the way it is, with Mikaela in it instead. And, well, except here's where it diverges. If there are likely set photos, I'll probably link some of them. I'll probably try and put one up on the screen or show one in the links down below. But there is indeed a photo of Megan Fox of her on the Transformers Dark of the Moon set in a white dress with some black stripes and a black leather jacket and black high heels. Now, it's likely that she filmed 1 or 2 scenes from the film. I believe this likely scene was the office scene we got in Transformers Dark of the Moon when Sam meets Dylan. Now that's where pretty much it's the same. But the rest of the other scenes stay the same in between those scenes. Optimus updating us on how Earth has changed, Energon detectors, the fight at Chernobyl, all the scenes of Megatron, and the scene at Carly's job. Now here's where it diverges. Sam would arrive there asking, I'm looking for Mikaela Banes instead of Carly Spencer for obvious reasons. We would see him walk over there, see Mikaela, and then a hug, chat for a bit. Dylan would come by and then mention he's Dylan Gold or something. They'll talk for a bit, and well, we would understand this jealousy we get from Sam. Because, well, in the main one when it comes to Carly, he just looks like a dick. When he just acts, he's just acting like a bit like a nervous jerk, a bit of a dick in my opinion. When I saw this as a kid, to my perspective and anyone else, it would make more sense if the scene was with Mikaela. We've known her for 2 movies. By this point, 2 movies we have seen Sam and Mikaela grow. We've seen them admit their feelings for each other, and we've seen them at this point where they're now living together. And that, well, it would make sense for both us, the audience, and Sam to worry. Because look at Dylan. He's handsome. He's good looking. He's very muscular, because anyone skinnier than that would take that as a very big thing. He owns a big empire of cars. he already has an established relationship with Micheal, who would be in this version of the film. He would already have an established long relationship with Micheal by this point. This would make Sam worry. Now, obviously, Dylan only got to Micheal to get through to Sam. This will make more sense for Micheal, because we are now worried. This guy, who is much more better looking than Sam, has the chance to rip Micheal away from his grasp. Us, the audience, would be worried about that, and I find that much more emotionally attachable than just this. Because Carly, this is her first appearance in the film. This is only her second scene, and her first appearance in the Bay Formers movie, and her only one by their standards. So this is hard for us to get jealous, because we barely even know who she is. And we probably barely even know who she will be, because we don't get much of her personality in the entire 2 hours that this movie runs for. Now, continuing on with that, after that scene, pretty much the entire film plays out similar with the whole the office scenes. Obviously, the scene when the Mercedes shows up out the door, and instead of Carly, it'd obviously be Micheal getting out of the car. She'll be wearing the same outfit that Carly wore in that scene, the white dress and the blue high heels, because that's what she was wearing on set. But yeah, Micheal will be wearing the same dress that Carly wore in that scene, and we'd see them, Sam and Micheal, meet up at work, chat a bit, talk about how that car could be sold. Micheal would be a bit defensive about the car, and this would make sense, and it would make sense why she's working for Dylan Gold. Micheal loves cars. It would make sense that she'd want to go work for somebody like this. All this info is pretty easily gettable, that I got it from Marlinfan 1995, His video is linked in the description, and channel if you do want to check it out. So it'll be linked in the description below. And I finally figured out how to put those there, so yeah, but overall, this makes more sense, as Micheal loves cars. She would want to get a job that would be like that, and this would pay a lot of money, and she would love a nice car, and this is why it would make more sense for Micheal to be more defensive. That, and why would Carly leave a high-paying job at the British Embassy? That would pay more money than what Dylan Gold is offering. So it'd make no sense that she would leave it randomly just to go to Dylan Gold. It'd make more sense for it to be Micheal. She's working out of her father's shop, and it'd make more sense for her to go to Dylan Gold because it would pay more money. So it'd make more sense from a story standpoint and from a character standpoint to be Micheal. Continuing on, the film would play out the same after her visit when she would leave. Obviously, more objectification can be done. But after this, well, yeah. Next after this will be Sam and Micheal going to the Autobot base. Will Micheal wear the same outfit? I don't really mind. That one doesn't really matter. But continuing on, the film will continue on the same. They'll get arrested at first. Then Bumblebee will come in and save the day. Then they'll go inside the Nest building, talk, and then Sam will talk with them about the dark side of the moon, the whole conspiracy. Charlotte Meering won't really want to get him involved, believing him as a messenger. That scene will pretty much end. Like I said before, the Sentinel Prime revival scene will still happen exactly the same, all that. Just Micheal is witnessing it instead of Carly. Carly will indeed be introduced as a cameo character in that British Embassy scene to set up her character in later movies. I do plan on including Rosie Huntington Whiteley as Carly Spencer, not as Sam's girlfriend, but as a brand new female character that can be explored around and actually get to do something in the later movies. She would take over Michaela's role in the movies for a bit. One of the later the sidebar, she'd actually become more of a prominent character. Her looks wouldn't be used in the film. But nonetheless, continuing on with the film would play out exactly the same, with Sam complaining and talking to Wheelie and Brains about how it's frustrating that he's just now realized he's now a messenger, and that after everything he's done for the Autobots from the past two films, he's just now a messenger, referred to that as that. Obviously, like in the original film, he gets help from Simmons, they go to research it. The movie pretty much goes on the same until the next scene when Micheal enters back into their house or apartment. She would see the wreckage in the house and would get angry and would complain to Sam that they should be going to Dylan's party and shouldn't be prancing around with the robots. The dark blue sparkly dress that with the glitters and all that Carly wears will be the exact same one Micheal wears, as it'd be fascinating to see in that kind of dress. But nonetheless, the scene will continue as the same, with Micheal worrying that Sam could die again, and she knows where this leads. When Carly says this makes less sense. Well, because Carly's only heard about this war stuff and all this fights and battles as stories. Michaela's seen the real deal. She's seen him die. It takes that pointless death from the last movie, because yes, it was a very much pointless death in the film. They take that and make it apply to her character in this movie, and make her parts important to this movie, making a movie you must indeed watch or skip over. It's pretty skippable, yet not skippable. But nonetheless, continuing, it would make more sense that this is Michaela. She'd be worried for Sam's safety, that he may indeed die if he goes out to another alien robot war. This would make sense, Sam wanting to matter. The scene would be more emotional with Michaela in it, saying that he matters to her. Then breaking up will feel very emotional for us, because we've seen them for 2 movies. It will feel very emotional and very, very sad to see them break up. The scene will continue on as follows. The movie will continue on as follows. Sam will go to the party later on. Then after that, Sam will go to the party to go see go see Michaela instead of Carly. Said Carly nearly, but he'll go to see Michaela. He'll convince him that it's time to go. After that, then while they get kidnapped by Soundwave, who was disguised as Michaela's car up to this point, they'll get interrogated. Michaela will get kidnapped, and well, Sam obviously would have to be their spy. After that, the Autobots would end up getting exiled, and everything else, the Autobots would obviously end up getting exiled. Like in the original film, Sentinel still betrays them, and actually in an earlier scene, just to state, in an earlier scene, Sentinel kills Ironhide as a sign of his betrayal. Now, to answer a big plot hole within the timeline is Skids and Mudflap disappear after Revenge of the Fallen and appear a few times in Dark of the Moon. I think, in my opinion, in order to kill them off, you need to give them a death scene. There's actually a video called What Happened to Skids and Mudflap in Dark of the Moon that will go more in depth. But basically, yeah, he gives a theory on how it would happen, and this is, in my opinion, how the Ironhide death scene should go. Like in the original film, Ironhide still gets killed by Sentinel. After leaving and after Ironhide's death, obviously, Lennox will, along with others, will drag in the unconscious soldiers and said, do not engage Sentinel. After this, Skids and Mudflap will guard the other entrance, being told to evacuate, and would run into Sentinel. Believing Sentinel still on their side, would believe them. Then, well, Sentinel will grab out his gun and shoot Mudflap in the chest. This Skids comes to run at him, but Sentinel takes out his double-bladed sword and cuts him in half, or blade, and cuts Skids in half, and then shoots Mudflap in the chest 2 more times to kill him, and then shoots Mudflap in the chest 2 more times just to kill him, and well, Skids would bleed to death. After this, we'd see him go on to attack the rest, and then we'll cut to Charlotte Murin, their liaison, or director, to come in and see all the destruction they have caused, and this will tie up the plot line of Skids and Mudflap being killed, tying up Skids, Mudflap, and Ironhide being dead. Now, it would already be talked about that Jolt, a blue Autobot from Transformers 2, was barely in the film and is barely seen in the 3rd film. To answer why he's not there, it would be confirmed that Shockwave did indeed kill him by shooting him in the face. It was on a comic that was pulled from the canon after our Age of Extinction. But yeah. Continuing on with this, like I said, at a later scene, obviously later on, Sam will go to Dylan Gold's house, all will ensue, they'll get captured by Soundwave, Michaela will get captured by Dylan and Soundwave, Sam will become their spy, and then obviously witness the Autobots leave. The movie will play out the same with him chatting his bittersweet chat to, his sad chat to Optimus and Bumblebee, and obviously after that, it will continue to play out. Instead of Carly being in scenes with Dylan Gold, it'll be instead Michaela. Continuing on with this, yeah, pretty much every other scene with Michaela will be there instead of Carly will be Michaela. The next scene will be Michaela getting dragged into the Trump Tower building by Dylan, and them arguing a bit about it, and them talking a bit about Dylan Gold, her and Dylan arguing, talking about them bringing Cybertron here to Earth. Basically, that will be the same thing. Michaela's spying on the other building where the pillars are. Pretty much all the scenes will be the same. And, well, yeah, pretty much the scenes will all be the same. Continuing on with the film will pretty much go on the same, and, yeah, along all other signs, the film will pretty much go the same. The Autobots will return to be alive. Sam will go in the city to find Carly, but this time it will be Michaela. Now, this would make more sense. As a kid, I always thought, why should I care about this character? Why is Sam going so much lengths? I know that in this movie, he's supposed to be his girlfriend, but it'd make much more emotional attachment if it was Michaela that was trapped in Chicago. Because we, the audience, would be worried about Michaela's safety, and we want Sam to go save her. And we would understand Sam's frustrations about getting Michaela. This would make it more relatable and more understanding, because like I've said in the past minutes of the video, we've seen her already for 2 movies, and we've seen her so far for this one. She's now in danger and in trouble, and near close contact with the Decepticons and Dylan Gold. She could have a chance of being killed by them. And I don't think Sam would want to see her die. So it would make sense that he'd be deeply frustrated and angry he can't get into the city. This would make it more better and a much more stronger scene, in my opinion. And this would really make him, make him less like a dude who just wants to get himself killed, a selfish dude who just wants to get himself killed, and make him feel like more of a dude who's just wanting to get his girlfriend back. It would feel much more stronger as an audience member to see it happen when it's Michaela in danger, not when it's Carly in danger. Nonetheless, continuing onward, after this scene with them, well, pretty much all the movie will play out the same until Sam would end up saving Carly. Now, the way Carly dresses and running around in those high heels, that just looks very uncomfortable, and the way she just fought off that guard looked a bit stilly. So Michaela would instead punch the guy in the face, and then kick him in the foot, punch him in the face, and then run towards them. Now, the clothes she would wear in this will be very different to Carly's. She'd wear jeans, blue jeans, long blue jeans. She'd wear the long black boots that we saw in Transformers 2 that she was wearing around many scenes. So we would see her wearing those again in the 3rd movie, along with the long blue jeans, and then, noticeably, the orange crop top from the very first film. We would see her wearing this as a nod to the very first film. We would see her wearing that, and then we'd also see her wear the blue jacket, the blue denim jacket from the first film. And then we'd see her also wearing that black leather jacket over that. And I think that'd just be a cool, unique outfit to see her run around in. It looked very much suited towards the situation and match with Sam's like very jackety look. Michaela would then later probably abandon the leather jacket, but yeah, I think it's a cool look for Michaela, and I've never seen her in a leather jacket before, so I'd like to see how that would look. And it looks very cool. It looked very cool in my head, and I think it would look like a very cool. It would fit the long boots, the boots the way they're meant to be. The long black boots she wore from the last film, the jeans, all of this would feel like an outfit that would make sense for her to wear in the film. The scenes will continue with them meeting up with the Autobots, seeing it all happen again. All of it would happen pretty much. After that, well, yeah. Later scenes of them getting chased around the city, them getting hunted down would be with Michaela instead of Carly. Pretty much, you know what I mean. You know what I've been saying for the last few videos. Every scene, the skyscraper scene, all that will be with Michaela instead of Carly. After this, well, yeah. Pretty much after this, the film will continue on the same until we now skip around to the final battle. Now with this final battle now in commence, well, Sam has now gone off to disable the pillar so that he can take it down. Him and Dylan will still be fighting whilst this would be happening. Michaela would see Megatron, and now, knowing that she has to try and protect Sam, would go over to do something. Before, this would make sense, as in the second movie, we saw Michaela cower in fear over Megatron. To see her not be afraid and be strong and brave towards Megatron would be so satisfying. It would make sense, and the lines of this feel much more sense, make much more sense from her, and sound very sensible. And just, I think, yeah, it would be a very good scene, a cathartic scene that she is now no longer afraid of him and willing to do it to keep Sam, willing to do it for Sam and to keep the Earth safe. And pretty much, yeah, the film will continue on as goes. Carly will get saved by the army. And now we skip to the final battle. This is where I want to alter a certain thing. During the final battle, this is what would happen. Like before, Sentinel's nearly killed Optimus. So, Megatron shoots Sentinel and injures him dearly, and convinces Optimus to try and let bygones be bygones. Optimus says, you know I can't do that, and so Megatron, in regards to it, shoots Sentinel in the back again, deeply injuring him. Optimus tells him not to do it. Megatron, believing that Optimus is wrong, continues to shoot Sentinel another time. He's nearly dead and injured, but Optimus stops him. Optimus stops Megatron with his one arm from shooting him. Megatron gets him away and then then shoots him again, and then shoots him again, injuring him a massive amount, shooting him in the stomach and in the leg. The stomach, shoulder, and leg. After injuring him, he takes one final shot, so Optimus decides to end this by closing his mouth plate, picking up his axe, slamming into Megatron's head, taking him out, and ripping his head off. After this, he would finally kill him. Optimus, realizing nothing can be done of it, finally takes his life. This would make much more sense instead of him just being a big a-hole and murdering him after Megatron saved his life. So it makes more sense that even though Sentinel killed Ironhide, Skids, Mudflap, and injured and killed many humans, he would still want to try and save his old mentor, because that is who Optimus is. He isn't a psychopathic murderer. I know throughout the entire of this film he was being a bit of a psychopathic murderer, but yeah, I'm trying to restore some of that. And another change is he doesn't kill Shockwave, he just injures him and takes him down, and ends up using his gun to take out the pillar, and would injure all the Decepticon drones instead of full on killing them, and would not kill Shockwave. And pretty much that's it. So Soundwave would still die. The fight seemed to be more tellable of what's happening. Not so many explosions as there was before. And pretty much, yeah. The film will go the same way. After Optimus killing Megatron, Sentinel would say how he wanted their world to survive and why he had to betray them. Optimus says the same line, but does not kill Sentinel. Sentinel says he is sorry for what he did, and that Ironhide was indeed a good soldier, and so was Skids and Mudflap. And he would unfortunately die with his eyes shutting offline, realizing Optimus would give him solace, telling him that even though he did it, he was doing it to try and save his own race, even if it meant, yeah. So Optimus would be there to comfort his mentor in his last living moments of life. Sentinel would then shut down, his eyes would then shut down, saying goodbye, and his eyes would then shut down. At the end of this, Optimus would then shoot Sentinel one final time, just to make sure. Optimus would then still having the gun in his hand, would drop it, not shooting him though, would drop the gun, but before that would shoot him still, just to give him peace. Just to give him peace and not make him die slowly. He kills him. Sentinel will question it, so Optimus shoots him, leaving him in peace. Sentinel thanking him and saying goodbye, and then shutting off. Optimus, seeing this, would drop his gun, and then the final scene will be looking dramatically off into the air, with the Bumblebee driving up, transforming, and Sam looking at him dramatically. And Optimus would be there, standing there. And, well, pretty much after this, Carly and Micheal will be not Carly and Micheal, Sam and Micheal will be reunited, finally kissing and finally admitting how they feel. Sam realizing that Micheal matters to her and that she's his world, and they've realized this, and pretty much, yeah. The film after this would continue on with them looking dramatically, and later on would show them burying all the Autobots that lost their lives, and humans. Q, Ironhide, Q, Skids, Mudflap would all get burials and all get buried, including Sentinel, and they will get to be rested in peace. With this happening, Optimus did get his arm repaired indeed, but was still injured, and we'd see him give his giant speech, standing on the same bridge while the city's getting repaired. And then after that, the film would end with the credits, and then later on, it would continue on with a few scenes after that, showing the whole Charlotte, Miriam, and Simmons scene. Same scene. I just didn't mind it. I found it quite funny. I found it quite likable. And then after that, the next scene after that will indeed be all the characters from the first two movies at Sam and Michaela's wedding. Sam's parents, Michaela's parents, all the characters from the first film, most of the characters from the first film, Maggie, a bunch of characters, Carly, Lennox, even Leo, who was from the last film, including some of his college roommates, would all be there to support him, and we'd see them re-emerge, and see them chat a bit, and see them give their vows and get married. This would finally see them get married, and, well, yeah, it would show them get married, ending off their movie arcs, and I think it'd be a happy ending to their characters. They would indeed return in future movies, although instead I do actually want to kind of cut that scene instead, but I'll keep it in here because I actually do have a much cooler scene I plan for the future of the series. They will indeed reappear in the fourth film, but yeah, that's basically my recap and rewrite of the film. The credits will continue, and a post-credit scene would then cut to a post-credit scene with Starscream's head, with the eye glowing, with him still living on. With that, the film now ends on this note. Sam and Michaela are now married. Things are happy between them. The Autobots won, but at the loss of a few soldiers and a few friends. With this, the Autobots will continue to improve their skills, and Optimus will continue to try and strive to be a better leader. And with the Matrix, it would teach him to be a better leader instead of a more brutal leader. Instead of following a more brutal fighting method, he would try to be a better leader, setting him up being a more like the Optimus Prime of the show, of the cartoon and comics in the fourth film. The Optimus Prime of the fourth film and onward, his personality would be like this. He would have a more stoic, very stoic and commanding leader like in Transformers Prime, but would have that warm fatherly figure love from the original cartoon version, but still fights like a beast, and would have much more protective outer shell, and would finally be able to fly a bit. With this, Optimus would also, when he needs to, get brutal, but only when he needs to. And only use killing as a last resort, restoring him to the very light-hearted Optimus Prime that he was in the films. There'd be no very big continuity reason behind it, but I guess this could kind of be an answer to it. And overall, this just finishes off the Michael Bay trilogy on a nice note. And overall, I think this should have been the finisher for Michael Bay's time in Transformers. Still continue the franchise, but the film still could have been salvageable from post-Dark of the Moon. Age of Extinction the Last Night, not really. Because what I was really annoyed about is that the fourth film and onward pretty much retconned the entire continuity. Bumblebee is not canon. But yeah, the fourth film pretty much junked half the continuity just to make up new storylines, and the fifth film disregarded it even more. I think what they should be doing in future films, and I'll be even making my own trilogy up, is that basically you do this. You try to conserve and keep within the continuity, making the comics and other media considered canon. Not only that, make future films reference the good bits of the Michael Bay movies and reference a lot of other stuff. The Matrix Elisa, for example, will become an important part in later films, whereas in the later movies, it was pretty much never mentioned again. So, yeah. In the fourth and fifth film and later movies, the Matrix will be very heavy. The fourth film, the Matrix will be name-dropped and mentioned and kept shown physically just to show it's still important, but it'll become more important in the fifth film and only be teased in this film to be important with it becoming important in the next movie. I only planned to do 3 movies. I wanted to try and rewrite Transformers 3 to be a finale, but realizing how hard and difficult that was, decided not to. I thought, hey, why not 4 be a finale? But I read the movie in a way that I could try and continue it for a 5th and 6th movie, and I thought, hey, a 5th movie feels like an odd number to end it on, and I have stories that I want to tell, and there's certain things I want to conclude in the 6th movie, so the 6th movie will indeed be my finale. The 4th movie will tell a pretty of a new story, but still have old characters. Cade Yeager would be indeed cut from the 4th film and be saved for a spin-off standalone film that be set within the film's continuity that would set up his appearances in future films. But yeah, pretty much that's my recap and mostly recap and rewrite of Transformers Dark of the Moon. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Did you like this version or not? Do you just want to watch that theatrical cut? Personally, I like my cut more, as it feels like it's honing in more to the past 2 films. It hones in more to the first 2 films. It finishes off a lot of things they needed to do. And it also... it pretty much is a really good finale. It's well written in a story sense, and it concludes a story of Michael Bay's series, but still sets up sequels that can be made, and spin-offs, and just random ideas. To what the idea for Transformers 4 would be, well, here's a hint. There'll be a scene in Mexico. Mexico City, there'll be a scene in there. But that's all I can tell you. All I'll be able to tell you about Transformers 4 is that the film will be set in 2014, a year after the events of the third film, set 1 year after the events, with some big things happening in between then. The 4th film would still be released, in this scenario, to keep it semi-realistic, it'd still be released the same year, month, week, day, and still be released in the same times. It would still be promoted by Burger King, McDonald's, Subway, Doritos, and many other ad companies from the first 3 films were promoted. It would still be promoted on the newest technology and would get new toys. It would not. All the designs of these toys would be based off the art for the film. I will indeed draw up some sketches just to show you how things will be changing a bit. I would indeed redesign the characters. Not a major amount of them, but I can confirm no Night BS for Optimus. That was just a completely stupid plot line. I did not like that as a plot line that retconned a lot of it out. So when the title Transformers 5 will be The Last Night, it'll be transferred to The Last Prime. It would still be called Transformers The Last Night, but symbolically, Night means Optimus. It means a prime. To this, I want to make the Night primes be like knights. All the primes were like knights. So yeah. No retconning stuff, just to nickname them Knights. In legend, they'll be regarded as like Knights. The Primes did indeed come to Earth and be regarded like Guardian Knights. And the Knights of the Round Table would still be involved. No weird Merlin plotline, as I felt. That just went too out there for me. It went way too out there for me. I know Transformers was already out there, but we don't need to go that out there as a series. So, yeah, just keep it to that, in my opinion. And pretty much, yeah. That's so far all I can tell you about Transformers 4 Edge of Extinction Rewrite. It will still have the same title and all that. The designs will be changed, but not as majorly as the 4th film did. The entire plot of the film will be chucked out entirely. That will be some of the plot will be salvaged for future films, but overall, pretty much the entire basis of it will be thrown out. It'll be more connected with the 3 films that were done by Michael Bay and the rewrite I did. So the 4th film will indeed be tied to specifically this rewrite. So I'll only be linking this video in the description of Transformers 4 Rewrite. But yes, that is my rewrite for Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon, released in 2011. And basically, yeah, besides those rewrites, the film would still be released in the same area, still make the same load of money, and would probably launch Megan Fox's career into longer stardom. Because I believe had she done this, yeah, it would have launched her career in even more stardom. Because, well, yeah, she was classified as more of a sex object after Transformers 1, Jennifer's Body and all that. And after Jonah Hex never really succeeded. Due to the scandal that was Transformers 3, it kind of it completely kind of shattered her stardom, and she did indeed count that. She should have just apologized, and then yeah, she would have likely apologized. She would have likely been able to do the 3rd film and would have been likely able to continue her rise to stardom. Her star would have been blown out of proportions and would have become a very famous actress. Likely. And she could have even expanded to other media. She could have expanded not only from horror, but expand on horror again and try it, but not be cast as a sex object, be cast as an actual threat, or be casted in more comedies or stuff like that. Just to show her repertoire as an actress, not only as an action star, but as more other star movies. She would still obviously do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 and do the other movies she does, but it would show her repertoire as an actress, in my opinion. So, yeah. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of this new Movie Master content. And just tell me what you think. Did you like this cut or did you hate it? But sorry for the long keeping you monologue. I am now back. You won't be seeing as much content. I'm not leaving YouTube. I just won't be putting too much content out because I have school, you know. And yeah. My Transformers 4 rewrite will indeed not be the next rewrite. That will indeed be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That one is nearing its completion, but I'm still trying to find the script for it. I've left it around in my house somewhere, but once I find the script, you'll be updated. And finally, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 rewrite will be the next video likely uploaded to this channel. But yeah, hopefully just click on the links down below if you want to, just to see what they look like. Hopefully you enjoy this video and maybe enjoy those other ones down there. And yeah, this movie does well for what I wanted to do. It finishes off Michael Bay's story, but sets up my own story that I'll be doing in my own trilogy. This one will be completely its own continuity. It will keep the comics and other media it'll keep the comics canon, but strip Last Night and Age of Extinction, the original versions, are out of the canon, and put my 3 movies in the canon. And Bumblebee and all that will be a reboot. Whether or not, yeah. Just, yeah, that will be pretty much it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, I'll make sure to see you guys in the next video. See you guys for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 rewrite, which will be likely much more together than my Amazing Spider-Man 1 rewrite. And in that one, I'll also explain some changes from the Amazing Spider-Man 1 to that version. So, yeah. So nonetheless, thank you guys for watching. And just make sure to keep talking movies way too much. And just, yeah, keep talking about movies, TV shows, and video games way too much. See you guys next time. Bye. Palm in your face! Ciao now.